across the state of Oklahoma. We welcome you to Oklahoma Sports Scene. Hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln, along with the TPS Hall of Fame Athletic Director, Gil Cloud.
Good afternoon.
Coach, got a busy schedule here of events, starting with talk about the World Series underway now, and who would have thought the Washington Nationals against the Houston Astros. Astros maybe, but Nationals, you're kidding me.
Well, and the Astros weren't thinking about that, about the ninth inning about 3-4 days ago. But George Frazier will be able to give us some insight because he's been there. He's played in the World Series. He's experienced that World Series experience, and he'll be able to give us who he thinks is going to win, too. Got
a World Series championship ring to show us as well. Then we got a friend of yours, Harold Alspaugh, who is the TPS supervisor of officials, and we have a crisis in officiating in high school sports.
Harold has been a football official for 34 years. Has really dedicated his life to high school football, and we really appreciate him. Does a great job of our supervisor of officials, but we're looking for officials. We're down maybe 200-300 officials every year, and we're getting to a point where I know, especially during basketball season, when you have all the classes playing at that time in the playoff time, there are not enough officials. You have officials that will work at 2 o'clock in one town and drive for a 7 o'clock game in another town because there's not enough officials out there. So it's acutely a problem for us, and we'll be working with the GTOA and the OSSAA to find ways to recruit more people.
And we'll tell folks if they're interested at all how they can try to become an official, right?
Just the TulsaOfficials.com, or they can call our office at 918-746-6454, and we can direct you.
Also talk basketball. College basketball season is getting close to tipping off early November. And Paul Mills, the head basketball coach at Oral Roberts University in his third season, will talk about his Golden Eagles team. And Coach, people are high on them in the summer league. They picked third in the conference.
And I think he'll tell us, it's kind of nice to move up a little bit every year.
Yeah.
And he's done that.
Yeah.
When you get into that upper echelon, a win here and a win there and an injury there make a whole lot of difference. You could be first to fifth.
That's right. Our Remington report, of course, usually comes right from the racetrack in Oklahoma City, but they're coming to us this time. Richard Linihan has made the trip over from the city to talk about the big weekend racing they just had at Remington Park for the Oklahoma Breds. Then we'll also preview the November 1st and 2nd, the championship day of racing, the Breeders' Cup. $30 million worth of races, and we'll have some previews, and hopefully Rich will give you a win or two on that. That'll be a part of our Remington Race Report and the Breeders' Cup preview. Let's wrap up Week 7 in college football, and the Oklahoma Sooners just keep rolling along.
How about that defense?
Oh, my gosh. Seriously, yeah.
I understand that Grinch was upset this week about the defense because there were no takeaways.
Still no turnovers. That's right.
Now, to me, a block punt is a takeaway.
Yeah, I'd take that, yeah.
But the case there that what they held them to, total offense, was amazing. And I think they've got some tests coming, but I think they so far have passed the test. They've gotten better every week.
Keep shutting out opponents in the first quarter. They shut out West Virginia in the second half and won the game 52-14. This surprised me, Coach. Oklahoma's now 7-0. This is the first time they've been 7-0 since 2004.
Yeah, that really surprised me too. I didn't know that statistic. But you stop and think.
Yeah,
they've had that stumbling block in there across the Red River now and then.
That's right.
But they're back.
They are indeed.
They're back. The Longhorns are back.
Yeah, right.
They're back in Austin.
I like it. Jalen Hurts, of course, is a phenomenal quarterback, the former Alabama transfer. Efficiency rating of 308.5, the best nationally this season. Became the third quarterback for OU to complete at least 90% of his passes, thrown for 300 yards and at least 3 touchdowns in a game. Incredible. Steve Owens, our great friend, was honored at halftime. The guy that's made me feel old, Coach. 50 years since his 1969 Heisman Trophy.
It's amazing. That was my first year to coach.
Really, 69.
I was in Sedan, Kansas, and I took my team up to watch the Oklahoma K-State game and saw him gain 200 yards in that ball game. And what an outstanding workhorse he was for the Sooners and for the Lions.
Had some excitement in the second quarter of the Oklahoma football game as well. It was nothing to do with the football game. It made all the highlight shows across the nation. Sooner Schooner took a tumble.
It was probably number one in the top 10 worst plays of the weekend. It was one of those things, and you're just really glad that nobody was hurt.
Yes, for sure.
Because it could have been very dangerous. And the thing that concerned me, as you stop and think about it, how did the carriage fall off of the wheels?
Yeah, it's
You
ripped
know,
right off
They
the top of it,
they
yeah.
didn't bolt it down, I guess.
I know,
So that's a little protocol they'll have to go through.
Yeah, well, fortunately the ponies were safe, the people in the wagon were safe,
Right.
and they had an open week this week, at least as far as a home game, so hopefully get it back on the chassis and get it rolling for the next home game at Iowa State. So we have OU at Kansas State this week, 11 a.m. kickoff, and I tell you, that new coach up there has done a heck of a job up there.
You know, Coach Kleiman will do a good job.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been a winner everywhere he's been. Oklahoma's better. There's no question. Playing in Manhattan is a little different sometimes. You know, you never know about that weather because there are no trees
yeah.
up there.
That's right.
And I mean, it could be 30 degrees cooler up there
Yeah.
than it is here. So, but other than that, I think that they'll take care of the Wildcats.
Baylor 45, Oklahoma State 27. Oh my gosh, Coach, I tell you, that was a tough one for the Cowboys. Their homecoming, and it was awful to watch.
And it was closer than that. I mean, you know, they had the late touchdown and everything, and they were in it. But they've really, Oklahoma State, and I hate to, you know, say things about where they are coaching wise and everything, but they need to make some decisions what they're going to fall on. They've got a freshman quarterback,
Yep.
you know, and he's
True
going to make
freshman.
some mistakes. But I'm going to tell you, he's a tremendous athlete.
Yep.
And what he's learning now is going to pay dividends down the road for the Cowboys.
So stick with them, Cowboys. They play at Iowa State this Saturday. That's a 2:30 p.m. kickoff game. FS1, that's not going to be easy either.
That'll be
Cyclones
tough at
are
Iowa State, and I guarantee it'll be 30 degrees in Ames.
And the University of Tulsa now 0-3 in the American Athletic Conference. They lost at Cincinnati. Gave them a heck of a battle for a while, Coach. They just lost 24-13, but again, 12 penalties, 3 fumbles, 2 interceptions.
They're so close to winning those football
Yep.
games. I mean, it's a play here or there, but I understand they're 130 out of the 130 in penalties, and you cannot give up that much yardage when you have to play perfect, and they're not doing that.
So let's turn it around this Saturday. Homecoming. Come on out and support the Golden Hurricane. They'll take on Memphis. Memphis, a heck of a football team, 6-1. Need your support. 6 p.m. kickoff. That's at the stadium there at Chapman Stadium. And we talk about Arkansas. Oh my God, Auburn put a 51-10 beating on them. But now they can bounce back. Coach, Arkansas is at Alabama this
Alabama,
weekend.
yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Good luck, Coach. All right, NFL football very quickly. Hey, how about them Cowboys, huh?
Well, I'll tell you what, you know, we had family dinner last night in Tahlequah.
Yeah.
And I told my son and my son-in-law, I said, I'm going to tell you something. The Cowboys are going to blow these guys out. And they did.
But the Eagles coach said, we're going to win this game, the top of our division.
Well, he was wrong, and because I think the Cowboys were fighting for Garrett's job.
That's right.
I really do. I think they said we like this guy, and we're going to play because they played harder
They sure did.
than they
Yep.
played the last 3 weeks.
Now they go to 4-3 after the 37-10 beating of the Eagles. They're on top of their division now. Arizona, Kyler Murray, how about them? They beat the Giants in New York 27-21. They're now 3-3-1.
I tell you, 3 in a row.
It's not that
Run
bad, huh?
3 in a row,
Way to go.
and who says if you're 6 foot you can't play in the NFL?
Kansas City Chiefs fans are holding their breath, of course. Patrick Mahomes went down in their 30-6 win at Denver. They're talking about a dislocated kneecap. You see him? They pop that back in place
Pop
on the
it back
field.
in,
Ooh,
yeah,
Coach.
yeah.
He said he's maybe out 3 to 6 weeks, but the Chiefs now, at least they broke their 2-game losing streak they were on. Cleveland Browns, Baker Mayfield, they had an open date this past week.
He had to clean up the stadium.
Yeah, he's busy. Those ads are something else, aren't they? Golly.
Really good.
Oklahoma City Thunder, the NBA season is underway. In fact, as we tape our show on Monday, the show airs on Wednesday here. The Thunder open their season on the road this night, Wednesday night, October 23rd at Utah. Come home to start their 41-game home schedule on Friday night against Washington Wizards, and then they'll have Sunday. Golden State rolls in to OKC for a game there.
That'll be an interesting deal for the crowd, won't it?
Be fun for that. Tulsa Oilers, they got to a good start, won their opener, and they've lost 4 straight since. But the Oilers will be back in action here coming up with a game on Sunday, and they've had a lot of home games. There's not much success. This team trying to find itself right now. And the Roughnecks season has come to an end. They suffered a 3-0 loss to one of the best teams in the league. Reno beat them 3-0 last weekend. They finished their season and look ahead to the new ownership with the Kraft brothers and some big things coming for the Tulsa Roughnecks. World Series is underway, and George Frazier, who played in 2 World Series, is going to be next with us on Oklahoma Sportscene. Talk all about it. Stay with us.
Cheers. Cheers. All right, y'all, how's everything tasting?
That is awesome.
I come bearing gifts of the liquid variety.
Bricktown Brewery. Come and get it.
Hey Mo, have you seen the MDX? I'm pretty sure it was in the showroom when I left yesterday.
No, sorry, Jen. I haven't seen it.
Are you positive you haven't seen it?
Hey Mo, I went ahead and pulled the MDX back up on the showroom for it. Oh, hey Jen.
Haven't seen it, huh?
Celebrate 125 years of the University of Tulsa on Saturday, October 26th, when your TU Golden Hurricane football team will take on the Memphis Tigers for homecoming. Also, make sure to check out Tulsa Hurricane on Facebook for the launch of our loyal Always True Retro line. Tickets start at just $15 for this Great American Athletic Conference matchup against Memphis. So get yours today at tulsahurricane.com/tickets or call 918-631-GO-TU.
Whether it's a wedding, birthday, family reunion, or company event, give your next big event a unique country feel at our Red Barn Event Center located just north of Tulsa. We feature plenty of party room inside and out for up to 350 guests, a huge open floor space, and even a big stage. The Red Barn features a full kitchen and separate bride and groom dressing areas. Outside weddings are beautiful under our 100-year-old pecan tree. For your next big event, with a do-it-yourself wedding, the Red Barn Event Center is the perfect choice. Booking now for future events. Welcome back on Oklahoma Sports Scene. It's World Series baseball time. Who better to talk about than a World Series veteran himself? Played in 2 World Series. My man George Frazier, former Oklahoma Senator. George, great to have you on Oklahoma
It's great
Sports
to be
Scene.
here. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Coach Cloud.
Well, me and him hang
You
around.
bet.
Baseball players hang around together. Announcers, they go their own way. Go
Exactly
ahead.
right. All right, give us the lowdown here. It's the Nationals and the Astros, and I know the networks aren't too pleased. They'd love to see Yankees and Cardinals, but anyway, here we go. Great pitching.
Or Yankees, Dodgers,
Yeah,
whatever it would
sure,
be.
that's right.
But
Yeah.
everybody's still going to watch it if they're a baseball
You
fan.
better believe it.
You know, you got 2 of the 6 premier pitchers. They're all all-star guys, top of the line
Unbelievable,
guys.
yeah.
Probably the highest paid group in there. Garrett Cole really took off for the Astros. I do think the Washington bullpen's gotten better just through the playoffs because they were horrible during the regular season.
yeah.
So I think, trainer's gotten better. Obviously, Doolittle's setting it up for Hudson, who's doing a really good job closing things out. I know they got Osuna down with the Astros and Will Harris and some guys try to match up. I think, quite honestly, I like Washington's chances to win it. I know that sounds strange. No more Bryce Harper. Took his $350 million, went to Philadelphia.
Wow.
He's hunting or cheerleading right
And
now.
wished him well, yeah.
Yeah, wished him well. So is it a better team because he's gone? A lot of people have said that. Maybe disruptive in the locker room or made it difficult for there. I think Washington's playing really good baseball right now. I don't think anybody gave him a chance to beat the Dodgers. They did. So I'm excited to see that side for Washington. I've got a lot of close friends that work for Washington.
But our buddy Bob Carpenter.
Yeah, Bob's
Oh,
working
yeah.
working for them, and Terry Wetzel's an assistant GM. Mike Rizzo's a good friend of mine. They're general manager. So I would like to see that for those guys that are friends to see what they can do. The Astros have already done it once, so they don't need to do it again. They can finish second again, and everything will be good. But I think the viewership will be down, like you said. But I also think it's exciting to see. It's exciting to see Washington get in. Finally. I mean, what's it been since the 50s when they were the Washington Senators, since the last time they were in a world championship. So the city will be alive in Washington.
Of course, one of the things you can think about, too, George, is that they have nothing to lose. They weren't supposed to be there anyway, and now they're there. They're playing loose. Houston has had that pressure all year long that, you'll be in the World Series, right? You'll be in the World Series.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's
and
going to continue
if
on.
not for a home run,
they
they may
would've
not
said
have been.
that's right.
So, I think when you play loose like that, you have a better chance because what have I got to lose?
You have nothing to lose. They started out 19-34. They wanted to fire Davey Martinez. They wanted to clean out the coaching staff, get rid of everybody. We're horrible, do this and that. And Rizzo said, we're fine. Let's just play. Let's get everybody healthy and see what happens, and then the rest is the rest of the story.
Scherzer, Strasburg, Corbin, pretty good lineup for pitchers there, too.
It is, and let's not forget about Anibal Sanchez.
Yeah,
I mean,
right,
one hit shutout for 7 innings against the Cardinals. So a veteran guy that knows how to throw strikes. I think hitters have adjusted to velocity so well, the 95 to 100 guys. And then you get a Sanchez that's 89, 92 and can carve at both sides of the plate, spins the breaking ball, good changeup to keep everything off balance.
And it is pitching when you get to this level.
There's no question.
Give us some of your experience in the World Series, George. We got the Yankees, and of course, the World Championship with the Minnesota Twins. We show off his World Series championship.
Yeah, I was
ring here
lucky.
for
You got to know
later.
how to pick your teammates. I learned that. That old bat thing you did like this. I won
sure,
the bat
right.
top. I got
There
to
you
pick
go.
my team.
Yeah.
I think the hardest part for a player, and it's probably similar for coaching a football or a state championship game, is that you prepare. I mean, ours is longer, obviously, on a bigger stage, but it goes by so fast. The game's over, and you're like, wow. Series is over, and you come home, and you're just picking up trash and doing stuff around your house again. It goes so fast. The media attention is ridiculous. It's been 40 years or whatever it's been since we were in a World Series, 30 some odd years since '87 with the Twins. I remember walking out of the hotel with my wife, and they were like, Frazier, and it was all CNN and everybody else. I said, ask her, and I kept walking, and they just swarmed Kay. And I was just like, I don't want to talk to you guys. But once it goes so fast, win or lose, that it's over, and you're like, you get home, and you go, wow, I played in the World Series. And then you look back and see Barry Bonds never won a World Series. You see guys, Ken Griffey Jr. never won a World Series. Guys, Phil Necro played 45 years. Willie Mays. So you got guys like this.
Yeah, right.
And you go, holy cow, how lucky are you to be able to even play in a World Series?
81 with the Yankees, and of course with the Twins in the World Championship, 91, 4-3 wins over Atlanta
87,
Braves, right?
that's right. No, it was with St. Louis Cardinals.
Oh, was it right? Okay.
We actually won our first two, lost the next three in St. Louis, won the next two at home against them. They had a great team. They had just a terrific team managed by Whitey. It was kind of a funny story. I started my career in St. Louis in 1978.
Yeah.
My last game in uniform was in 1987 World Series Game 4 in the same stadium. So I was in and I was out. Yeah, it's perfect.
Well, like you said, I think it does happen so fast, and you really can't enjoy the opportunity to play at that level for that period of time.
People don't get it. I mean, it's first of all, there's security everywhere. You can't walk anywhere. You can't go anywhere. You can't do it. Your normal routine gets really disrupted. And I think that's, one of the crazy things. I remember in L.A. there was a security guard in front of every player door. I was like, why? We got the whole floor. Just have them sit up by the elevator.
Yeah,
it was just stupid stuff that goes on. And I think the ticket requests. See, people don't realize players don't get tickets in the World Series. You got to buy them.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I spent $20-something thousand for the 87 World Series because you got to buy from the very first series all the way to the end of the World Series. And then if you don't use them, you turn them in and get your money back.
Wow.
We used every one of them. I was out to 20-something grand. Go ahead.
George, incredible athlete over in Springfield, Missouri, right? Mm-hmm. He had college scholarship offers, baseball, football, basketball. Came to OU, 72, 76, all 4 years as soon as the College World Series.
We just had a reunion down there this year, or last Friday. It was really neat to see a lot of old teammates and guys. Coach Seymour didn't come out. He's 88, and he just didn't want to come out and mess with us, and talk to everybody or forget a name. Yeah. And I had a number of guys come up to me and go, you remember me? I go, dude, you had hair and you didn't weigh 400 pounds. No, I don't know who you are. You don't remember me? I'm like, no, I don't remember you. So, but it was fun to see all of those guys and to think about those College World Series. They went in 71, and then our group went 4 straight years in a row. A lot of big leaguers came out of there. Bob Shirley, Joe Simpson. I mean, there's a lot of guys. Keith Drumwright, Kelly Snyder, All-Americans. So it was fun to get ton to speak.
Well, what has college baseball done for professional baseball?
Well, I think it's the players and the grooming. I mean, if you look at the draft now, they're taking more and more college guys because they feel like they're ready to make that. They're 2 or 3 years minor league guys are in the big leagues. High school guys are going to be 5, 6 years before they get there to pay that dividend. So I think, unless they're exceptional players like a Bryce Harper or Bobby Witt Jr., but I think the college program to me has helped you understand what it's like to be a professional a little bit. I got a young man in Oklahoma now, Jake Bennett, and I just saw him the other night. It's like a total changed guy, just in 3 months. Wow. The way he carries himself, the way he acts, the way he talks. I think that's helped them a lot. I think college baseball also, the competition that you're facing, particularly in Power 5 school like Oklahoma. We're in the Big 12 conference, the SEC, the ACC. Those aren't easy conferences to go compete in and day out.
George Frazier, broadcaster as well. And George, I had to ask you about this season, 6,776 home runs, 14 Major League teams set home run records. And Major League Baseball said, we haven't touched the ball.
Liar. Yeah. All I can tell you is I'm glad I'm not pitching right now. I can tell you that.
Oh,
well, in the home run ball, they use it in AAA.
Now that's down there.
And I talked to Dave Holliday the other day. He's a super scout for Atlanta. Yeah. And he said it was so hard to evaluate 6-year minor league free agents because these guys hit 5 or 10 home runs. All of a sudden they hit 25. Wow. And you're going, come on, guys. The ball's wound tight or whatever's going on, it's flying.
You know, it's amazing that there were so many home runs hit this year. With the pitching, it appears to be better.
Oh, yeah.
So how does that happen?
Faster. I think they've adjusted the velocity, to be honest with you. I think guys, I sit here when I played, and Goose Gossage was near 100 miles an hour. Bart Johnson was 100 miles an hour. Terry Forster was 100. Nobody ever hit him.
Yeah.
Nobody ever hit him. And then now all of a sudden, you see guys throwing 95 to 100 and they're getting whacked all over the field. I'm like, how's that? Chapman the other day goes up 2-run home run on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. I go, how'd that just happen? You know, I'm trying to trick guys when I was playing. This guy's sitting there doing it. I said, there's just no way.
Tulsa Brothers had another championship run this year. George, your thoughts on the LA Dodgers AA team here?
Well, first of all, I think the Hubbard family, from the daughter all the way to the top, do just a first-class job. One of the best minor league ballparks, the way they make it a family atmosphere, draw the people to the ballpark. And for what the Dodgers have done, similar to what the Rockies did, they sent them good players. They wanted to didn't win, but they got in the playoffs. The Dodgers have taken it to another level. I think with the organization, when you have guys like Bellinger and Lux coming through here, May coming through here, DeJong came through a couple of years ago, great players, all-stars at the major league level. So that's your draft and develop, getting guys going. And I really think the city probably needs to, and no, the Hubbards didn't pay me. I think that they really appreciate what they have.
Yeah.
Beautiful ballpark, great setting downtown. The Hubbards do, like I said, a wonderful job. Mike Malega runs a clean ship, an easy ship. I mean, it's like on clockwork every night.
We got something for you, George.
You bet.
Oh, man.
That's right.
I know you're rushing off for the Arkansas now, but you can come back for Bricktown sometime.
I'll get it to go order.
There you go.
Guys, thank you.
Good to see you, George.
It's always
You
a
bet.
pleasure.
Who's
Thank
your
you.
pick? Astros or Nationals? How many
Nationals.
games?
I'm going to go with Nationals.
How many games?
I'm going to 7.
7.
We're going to play 7, and we'll
Love
be
a
playing
7.
sometime in December when it's over. But we're going to play 7. Don't forget, they got the Dome in Houston. They got weather on the East Coast.
That's
There you
right.
go.
Smart. George Frazier, our baseball expert here, talking World Series baseball with us. We're back to talk about high school officiating. Bit of a crisis going on. Stay with us.
Robertson Tire has been your local tire expert since 1962. Now at RobertsonTire.com, it's easier than ever to get a customized quote. And with our price match guarantee, you can be sure that you're getting the best price. For more information, visit RobertsonTire.com.
The service is amazing.
Food's delicious.
I love the avocado fries.
I love the energy.
Local beer, great food, truly friendly service.
Look all right for you?
Bricktown Brewery, come and get it.
Each week we talk about the GTR, and we know for a fact that Forrest Cameron and his wife Sharon put out a tremendous paper. Well, I brought all 6 of them today. I'd like for you to see them. The Union Bound Dairy, and here is the Owasso Rambler. And if you live in Bixby, how about the Bixby Breeze or Broken Arrow, the Broken Arrow Express, Jinx, District Gazette, and then of course the Tulsa Midtown. All of those, the GTR. If you haven't had an opportunity to read one, do it, and you'll be proud of it.
Welcome back to Oklahoma Sports Scene. And now we have a guest who has been an official for 34 years, a member of the GTOA, and a good friend of ours, Harold Alspaugh. Harold, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate being here.
You know, officiating is at a critical stage right now. It seems like every year here we're losing more and more. What can we do to increase that group of people?
You know, God, I wish I had a great answer. We have done everything, I think, from the state level all the way down to the local level, trying to recruit officials. I wish there was a formula that I could say, here's what you need to do, and here's how you need to be able to approach becoming an official. But there's no great answer to that. All we can ask for is that anyone that has a passion for the game of football, and anyone that has the time to dedicate to the game of football, we would value them. And to give you an example, we bring in maybe 30 to 40 new officials every year. Out of those 30 and 40 officials that we bring in, most, I shouldn't say most, but at least 50% do varsity games. So your first year, you're doing a varsity contest. Now, I can tell you Many years ago, that didn't happen.
No.
You had to wait maybe 5 or 6 years before you ever got a varsity contest. Now you're getting it your first year. So we're throwing a lot of the officials to the wolves. And I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, but we have no choice.
Well, you know, I think it is a difficult situation. But for instance, now you're a referee, you're a white hat.
Yes, I am.
Go through your game day getting ready to go call a good high school football game.
You know, once I get through all of the other ceremonies that I have to do, because I assign all the officials, so I have a lot of cancellations, substitutions to take care of. But once I get through with that, it's a real simple thing. I try to go through tests and just try to prepare myself for the game. I don't try to really do any film study for the teams. It's a waste of time for me. Contact all the guys, let them know what we're doing, how we're doing it, when we're going to meet to go there, what we're going to wear. But for the most part, I try to get them, as well as myself, just to make sure. If we had any questions the week before, we go over those questions and we start talking about it. That way, if a situation arises, we don't look like a bunch of bozos out there trying to take care of the business, right? So the game starts, at 5:30 for us. Some crews get there earlier, but for us, we start at 5:30. And we get to the site, meet the coaches, go through all the pregame with the coaches, coin tosses, captains, things of that nature. And then when we walk in, the other officials on our crew walk out. And they survey the field, make sure everything's in right order, meet the coaches, meet the chain crew, and then about 15 till 7, if kickoff's at 7, that's when we usually take the field as a crew and get ready for the game.
Well, let me ask you this. Have you had to prepare any more this year with the play clock change?
It was easy for us. Now, for some crews, it's been a little bit more difficult. We had, as you well know, we had a meeting with the Tulsa Public Schools and went over the play clock and the game clock with the people that run the clock, run the play clock. And we've had very little problems with most of the schools. There's still some confusion, and when there's confusion, you just simply, rectify it. You stick your hand up in the air and say, stop, we're going to, restart it, and let's go. But I think statewide, for 80% of the crews, it's been really, really good. I would say for 100% of the schools, it's been good because the consistency.
Correct.
Yeah.
We have good, consistent clock now. We don't have one crew that waits 15 seconds between blowing the ready for play. Now, as soon as that ball is dead, we're starting the 40-second clock.
Exactly.
So the consistency is much better.
Harold Alspaugh, the TPS supervisor of officials. Harold's a young man, a young lady there who says, I'd like to try to become an official. Who do they contact? How do they do this?
The website is tulsaofficials.com. And we start our meetings the second week in July. Okay? They can go online, register. We also have camps. Usually in May, we will have an officials camp, and we welcome all new officials to go to that camp. Great opportunity, costs $30, I think, or something, but great opportunity for a guy or a gal that's interested in going to one of our camps. They get on-field experience, get to meet, the guys of the association, plus they get to meet coaches. So it's a great opportunity for them to say, yes, I like this, or no, it's not for me. And so, but other than that, we welcome. I mean, we discussed it before we came on the air.
Right.
We do not have much time. Football is not going to go away.
Yeah.
The only way football is going to go away is if we don't have officials to cover the games. And we cannot cover today's athlete as good as they are with less than 5 officials. It's just almost impossible. So we can't lose anymore.
Right.
And as you well know, we are not gaining, we're losing.
Yeah.
And I remember back when we put the 5th one in, and it was kind of the emergence of all the passing and everything, because we could not, without somebody in the back end, to see what was going on in the secondary, And when it was first put in, Chris, the athletic directors, the hard core guys,
That's right,
we're going to pay for 4.
That's
you
right.
can send 5 if you want.
Okay, you're
and you
nice
can divide
guys.
up the money, and that's how it started.
Wow.
Today, I would pay for 5 anytime.
Yeah, sure.
After having been in college where we had 7, you put yourself in a better position. And I think the one thing at some point in time that we'll have to think about, and maybe not me because I probably won't be here 10 years from now, but will be, do we need to add another official for the health and safety of student athletes because of targeting, concussion, all that kind of thing? You can't see everything.
Yeah, the problem that we have is we would love to go from 5 to 7. 6 is a tough number because you leave the middle unguarded, right? You're okay on the wings, but you leave the middle unguarded. 7 gives you a really good opportunity to see what's going on in the middle of the field, and pass interference, which we all know is the most misunderstood call there is.
Yeah, sure.
And the biggest game changer.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The biggest game changer. So it is, but to make a point, we went to 5 men, even in 8-man football.
Wow.
And 8-man football, you say, God, there's only, there's 16 kids, and how can 5 guys or 4 guys not cover that? Well, when they score 120 points,
they'll run you right down the field.
They'll run you to where you don't want to run anymore. So we went to 5-man officiating, even in 8-man football.
Harold, thanks for joining us. We have something for you. Thank you for all your great service.
Thanks for
coming, sir. Appreciate you having us.
Absolutely.
A little Bricktown on us.
That's right.
Always a pleasure, sir. Thank you so much.
You bet.
Coming up, we'll talk some ORU basketball with their head coach, Paul Mills. Stay with us.
At Rogers State University, we keep things personal.
It all starts here.
We make sure our graduates get the most out of their education.
RSU has campuses in Claremore, Bartlesville, and Pryor, with on-campus housing and a wide variety of programs to suit your needs.
It all starts here.
Rogers State University.
1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight.
Remington Park is now officially open around the clock. That's right, we are 24/7.
We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. We're gonna rock till broad daylight. Gonna rock around the clock tonight.
So when we say the party never ends, you better believe it. Remington Park, now open 24/7.
The Eschbach 6E Ranch on 800 acres north of Tulsa invites you to know the benefits of miniature Herefords. The 6E has always been committed to providing the finest quality meats. Our hormone-free beef is always on grass, then grain-fed the last 90 days to that perfect mix of marbling and taste. We will deliver the animal to a USDA-inspected facility. All you have to do is pick up your vacuum-packed processed meat. Fill your freezer with the finest quality beef at the best price. We also specialize in registered miniature Herefords for breeding and show. Call the 6E Ranch today.
That's right. Basketball season is getting closer. Of course, the Thunder and the NBA tipped off their season this week. College basketball coming up early November. We're really glad to be joined by Paul Mills, third season head basketball coach of the Oral Roberts Golden Eagles. Coach,
good to see y'all. Good to be here.
I tell you, picked third in the Summer League Conference, and you got some first place votes as well. Talked about this 19-20 team.
Yeah, well, we've been fortunate that every year, whatever they've predicted, we've finished better than whatever they predicted the previous 2 years. It is good to get some recognition that they consider you among the top 2 or 3 teams. Right. But nobody's shooting for third. Whether you're first or ninth, you're anxious to play the games and kind of see where you end up. So we're anxious to see how this all shakes out. We've got a good group coming back, multiple all-conference players returning, 5 seniors, an Oklahoma transfer who we feel very confident in. And to have guys who have good experience gives you an opportunity.
Well, I tell you, if you're going to improve 1 or 2, you'll be second or first.
Yeah. We'd love to improve 2 than what they have.
So who is your main competition in your conference?
Well, North Dakota State ended up losing to Duke. They won a game in the NCAA tournament, then lost to Duke. And so they returned practically everybody. South Dakota's picked second. We were very fortunate both times that we played them last year. We both have, in essence, our core returning. And so I think the second place vote could have gone either way. It makes sense picking North Dakota State. But I think that Omaha and Denver and a number of other teams in the league are very good.
You got 2 of your players on the first team, all some of the conference. Talk about them. You have a senior coming back, and the freshman of the year last year is back as well.
Yeah, Kevin O'Banner was a freshman All-American, and he returns for his sophomore season. Our sophomore class is very good and very talented. Emmanuel Nezukwezi is predicted as Player of the Year by some publications. He's returning. So to have 2 front court guys returning, both of my years we've had all conference players in the front court. We needed to upgrade the back court in regards to depth, and we feel we've done that. We have a number of players who not only are returners, but some additions also that we feel can contribute right away and make a strong statement about just how good we are in the Summit League.
Let's talk about your preseason schedule before we actually get into your league.
Well, we open up at Oklahoma State. Makes it a good trip for us, given that it's right down the road. One of our players who's coming in, Ty Lazenby, a transfer from Oklahoma, is from Stillwater, so he has that kind of circled there on his calendar. Return home to play a game against Houston Baptist. It's homecoming, and so we get great support. And then you play the Mayor's Cup, and then you're off and playing a number of games. Some of them at home. Some of them on the road against tough competition, but it's not anything that we shy away from as we're trying to prepare for conference, and we feel that our non-conference schedule does that.
As Paul Mills, the head basketball coach at Oral Roberts University and men's coach for the 3rd season, but Coach, I'm looking at these non-conference guys. I know we all understand, thanks to athletic directors. Mike Carter understands you got to make some money, but wow, at Iowa, at Wichita State, at Creighton, at Brigham Young, that's tough.
Yeah, it is, but you know, I do think you always want to see where your guys measure up. I feel like 2 years ago, we may not have been able to be competitive in those games. And in a lot of those, if you look at the scores, we weren't. I do feel like this year's team, given that we're senior laden and we have good depth in the backcourt, I think they'll provide good opportunities. And I wouldn't be surprised if we shocked 1 or 2 of them.
You know, the playing venues like that, though, has to help you for postseason play.
Absolutely.
I mean, when I was at Upper Iowa University, I had a first-year president, and I got Iowa to play us an exhibition game. We were in Division II, and so we walk into Carver Hawkeye Arena, which you know is down in the ground.
Yeah.
And we walk to the first row of bleachers, and he looks down and said, "Oh my God, what have you done?"
We paid some bills.
But it's an eye-opener, I think, for your student athletes to be able to play in venues like that.
Absolutely.
And of course, they play in a great facility in the Baby Center. Anyway.
And I think it hardens you a little bit, makes
Sure.
you tougher. And the truth is you have to be tough and you have to be together in order to win on the road.
Right.
And these venues allow you to do those.
Paul, 14 seasons at great program, Baylor University there. Talk about your stay at Baylor and what attracted you to make this jump to Oral Roberts University, your first head coaching job?
Sure. My second year at Baylor University, we won 1 game. The entire conference season went 1-15. My last year, we were #1 in the country. And so I watched the whole pendulum swing.
Sure.
And so to have a front row seat to see what it takes in order to build a program and to go through all of that, knowing how competitive the Big 12 is with Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Kansas, all of those teams, was a great eye-opener. And you also have to remember, we were going against Hall of Fame coaches and Eddie Sutton, Bobby Knight, Rick Barnes, who is really good, Lon Kruger. I mean, you could go on and on with the coaches that you had to game plan. And so you felt like it made you better as a coach. So the opportunity to take some of that and then lead your own program. Baylor was a Christian university, ORU being a Christian university. Right. And to be able to see how good you can be in regards to your league, you wanted that opportunity to lead a program. And so I'm anxious to get year 3 started. I do feel it's going to be better than years 1 and 2. But as I've watched what happened at Baylor, us going from 1 win to #1 in the country, I feel as confident about the direction we're headed as well at ORU.
Has your recruiting become easier that you've been now your 3rd year?
Yeah, I don't know that recruiting is ever easy. You know, you're always competing, but here's the reality of it is if you're not winning off the court, you're probably not winning on it. Mm-hmm. And so you are battling other schools for good kids. I do feel like, especially in the South, kids value a family environment. Mm-hmm. Kids want their parents to see them play. So you have kids, whether they be Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, we've been able to get those kids. And knowing some of the other teams in our league, I feel like we have a great recruiting base for basketball. You've seen it with ORU in baseball.
Sure.
We probably, in baseball and basketball, do a lot more in the South than they do in the North.
All tips off from Oral Roberts University men's team. It's November the 6th at Oklahoma State. They come back home November 8th, take on Houston Baptist, and the Mayor's Cup. They play at Tulsa on November 12th. Coach, wish you a great season. We have something for you.
Go by Bricktown on us.
Man, I'd love it. I'd love it. Thank you.
Best to the family.
Thank you.
Third place.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank
in the
you.
Summer League.
Thank you.
2 players on the first team All Summer League preseason conference teams. Get out there and support the Golden Eagles. Get out there and you'll enjoy the Mabee Centers of good basketball. We're going to come back and look ahead to Racing's Championship Day of Thoroughbreds, the Breeders' Cup with Richard Linihan from Remington Park. That's next on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
Winston, tie or bow tie? Good choice.
Sammy, they're here.
Good morning. Welcome to the...
Come on, you guys. What did you think they were here for?
Well?
It's the Honda Summer Spectacular Sales Event going on now at Don Carlton Honda.
At Bricktown Brewery, we're known for our famous original craft beers like Single String Stout and Bluesberry Ale. Did you know we also brew our own root beer at our Oklahoma City brewhouse? It's called Attaboy Root Beer, and you'll love it no matter what your age. Just ask for a Bricktown Kids menu with all the favorites for our guests 12 and under. Bricktown Brewery opens every day at 11 a.m.
Robertson Tire has been your local tire expert since 1962. Now at RobertsonTire.com, it's easier than ever to get a customized quote. And with our price match guarantee, you can be sure that you're getting the best price. For more information, visit RobertsonTire.com.
Time for Thoroughbred Racing in big couple weeks. Thoroughbred Racing coming up. Remington Report, of course, our first thing with Richard Linihan, their handicapper and media man here from Remington Park. We're down in Oklahoma City to visit with us on Oklahoma Sports Scene. Then the first weekend in November, it's the Breeders' Cup Classic, of course, the whole program with $30 million worth of races, the year-end championship. Before we get to Breeders' Cup, though, and get all the winners from Richard here, let's talk about the past week at Remington Park. Had a big weekend of racing.
It was kind of the Breeders' Cup of Oklahoma racing.
Oklahoma Breds, that's
Oklahoma
right.
Breds in every different category you could possibly have. We had 3 fantastic races among the 8, more than $1 million in purses. And 3 of the races included Shotgun Cowboy, who is a millionaire horse, Okie bred. C.R. Trout trains that horse, and he won the Oklahoma Classics Cup for the 4th time. It was the only horse ever in track history to win that same race 4 times. It's kind of the cornerstone of the Oklahoma Classics night.
Talk about his races. We watched the video there.
Well, you know, Shotgun Cowboy had been kind of tailing off coming into this race, so everybody thought maybe this is the race where he loses. And man, he looked like the same 3-year-old that won the Oklahoma Derby back when he was 3.
How old is he now?
I think he's 6 now.
Wow. Yeah.
And the touching thing about it, the whole thing, was CR interviewed after the race by our paddock host, Kelly O'Hara.
Right.
CR told us that his wife had just been in for open heart surgery, was in ICU, and she had named that horse. And so he dedicated that to her. Tears were flowing all over the place.
Great horseman, a Hall of Famer, of course.
Yes, CR is a trainer, owner, breeder. He does everything in the business, has a farm out in Edmond, and just an amazing guy. Shotgun Cowboy just drew away from this field, leaving him in his dust.
All right, so the other highlights of the weekend?
The other highlights included Welder.
That
Welder
name well.
was our
He's
horse of the
dominant,
year.
yes.
Horse of the year in Oklahoma last year. Horse of the meet at Remington Park. Champion sprinter, champion Okie bred. He's now the track record holder for 6 furlongs, 108.13. Terry Luniak, the trainer, does a fantastic job with this horse. He was the first horse ever to win 4 stakes in the same meet. He did that last year. And now he's won 3 in a row this meet, not stakes, but 2 stakes and an allowance. He's got the Silver Goblin coming up. He could win 4 for 4 again, and that would give him 9 wins in a row. Now, I've done some research, and of all the great horses, even the ones in the Oklahoma Horse Racing Hall of Fame, none of them have ever won 9 races in a row at Remington Park. Found She's All In, if you remember that filly. I think Dr. Zellner had that filly, and she was the only one I could find so far that has won 8 in a row. So he'll be going for his 9th in a row coming up in the Silver Goblin. His race was amazing. He ran in the Oklahoma Classic Sprint, was 1-9 on the board. Ooh. And he always breaks on top, first or second, gets to the lead, and he's gone. Well, this night, the horse to his inside in the gate was acting up, and the horse to his inside hit the gate and made a noise, and Welder thought, according to his jockey, David Cabrera, thought that that meant the gate was going to open. So it upset him, and he reared up. And when the gate opened, he was reared up.
Wow.
He was dead last out of the gate, and he was going for his 8th win in a row. He gave the field about 7 lengths, and he made up every bit of it on the back stretch.
Wow.
And had the lead at the top of the stretch and ended up drawing off by 4 lengths to win again. It was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. His trainer, Terry Luniak, said that he was trying to give an old woman a heart attack, is what he was trying to do.
And look ahead, racing Remington Park, some of the highlights of the fall still, a lot of racing still left, of
course. The one other race that was very memorable over there was Rowdy Yates, a horse that is owned by L&N Racing here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's Lee Levinson, Mike Levinson, and Don Nelson. Yeah. They brought Rowdy Yates to the juvenile, and he had already made a name for himself on the national scene, and may be a horse to watch for when we run to the Kentucky Derby next year. He won a graded race in Ellis, or not a graded race, $100,000 Ellis Park Juvenile in Kentucky, ran 2nd in a graded race at Churchill Downs earlier this year, and then he got beat, ran 5th, beaten 5 lengths his last time before he came to the Oklahoma Classics Juvenile by a horse named Dennis's Moment, who is going to be one of the favorites in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile coming up here in a couple of weeks.
Right. And of course, racing at Remington Wednesday through Sunday, right?
That's correct. Wednesday through Saturday.
7 p.m. post time and stuff. And it's always free parking, free admission, and listen to Richard for the winners here. All right, let's move to the Breeders' Cup Championship, November 1st and 2nd at Santa Anita Park. It'll be a 36th Breeders' Cup Championship. It's 2 days, 14 races, $30 million in purses. And that'll be a heck of a show out there.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time for 2 days, and I'm very interested to see the juvenile always, because I want to know who's going to be. Those are the horses that are going to be trying to make their way to the Kentucky Derby. There are plenty of horses that have a run for Horse of the Year this year nationally going to be out there, because it's pretty wide open if you don't consider Midnight Bassoux the heavy favorite as the mare that is in the lead, according to me. Right now.
Breeders' Cup Classic, $6 million purse. It's the big feature race on Saturday that wraps things up with a post time of Central Time, 7:44 p.m. But McKenzie, neighbor, longtime friend of mine, late Brad McKenzie, and trained by Bob Baffert, they're getting a lot of play.
Yeah, he's #1 in the poll right now nationally, even after getting beat last time out by Mongolian Groom, I believe it was. I've never been a huge McKenzie fan, so I'm kind of riding the coattails of Code of Honor, the 3-year-old this year. But I think there's an older horse named Higher Power that also has a chance, that was an upset winner earlier this year also. So that may be a race where something strange could happen. I just don't think the top 3-year-olds and McKenzie are unbeatable.
Incredible schedule of racing. The races on Friday, it really is kind of the future. All the races Friday are the cheat-all, the juvenile races. And purses from $1 million to $2 million on Friday.
Yeah, I like the way they have finally done that, instead of making the distaff on Friday and then the classic, the Cup on Saturday. So I like the way they have it in order now. You got the sprints for the young horses. They added those a few years ago. And I think that gives everybody a chance to see some of the best horses in the country.
You have
internationally.
You have a surefire winner. Who's your favorite of all the races coming up? Again, 14 races, $30 million in purses. Who do you think can maybe cash the ticket for us?
Well, if you're going to single horses on your pick six or that kind of thing, I think Matoli in the sprint is pretty tough. bricks and mortar on the grass has been amazing this year. And then Midnight Basoo in the distaff, if she goes in the distaff, she may go in the Classic and just beat the boys. Who knows?
November 1st and 2nd, the Breeders' Cup Championship at Santa Anita Park. Thank Richard Linihan for making the trip over to Oklahoma City and for support at Remington Park. And again, look for some great racing at Remington Park continue this fall.
Okay, well, thanks for having us.
And between races, you can go to Bricktown. There you go.
And by the way, Bricktown's right there at Remington Park, right?
That's right.
Excellent. Thank you, Richard. Appreciate it, my friend.
All right.
Good
to see you guys.
You too, Gil. Yeah, they got a week off because of you, see? Thank you. Okay, Richard Linihan visiting us at Remington Park and the Breeders' Cup Championship again, November 1st and 2nd at Santa Anita Park. We'll come back and honor Nolan Richardson as the Arkansas Razorbacks former coach, and his name on the court in Fayetteville. That's next.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, y'all, how's everything tasting? That is awesome.
I come bearing gifts of the liquid variety.
Bricktown Brewery. Come and get it.
At Robertson Tire, we'll match any deal you find on tires, but customer service remains at the core of our business. That's why we've been voted the very best in all 3 major area publications. Thank you for choosing Robertson Tire for all your auto care needs.
At Rogers State University, we keep things personal.
It all starts here.
We make sure our graduates get the most out of their education.
RSU has campuses in Claremore, Bartlesville, and Pryor, with on-campus housing and a wide variety of programs to suit your needs.
It all starts here.
Rogers State University.
Whether it's a wedding, birthday, family reunion, or company event, give your next big event a unique country feel at our Red Barn Event Center located just north of Tulsa. We feature plenty of party room inside and out for up to 350 guests, a huge open floor space, and even a big stage. The Red Barn features a full kitchen, separate bride and groom dressing areas. Outside weddings are beautiful under our 100-year-old pecan tree. For your next big event, with a do-it-yourself wedding, the Red Barn Event Center is the perfect choice. Booking now for future events. This past Sunday, October 20th, a very special day at the University of Arkansas at Bud Walton Arena there as they named the court after Nolan Richardson, a good friend of ours, longtime guy who meant a lot to basketball here in the city of Tulsa.
I tell you, when he came to the University of Tulsa, he literally changed the culture and the expectation for success. And there was no question, that they were going to play hard. And that, what was it? You're going to have
40 minutes of hell.
40 minutes of hell.
Right.
And I really think wherever he was, he did that. He did when the junior college, when he played at Texas El Paso, when it was Texas Western for Don Haskins, and then on to Arkansas, and really changed the basketball format at Arkansas to make the expectation almost unattainable for some people.
The College Basketball Hall of Famer, the only coach in history to win a National Junior College Championship, an NIT Championship, and of course with the Razorbacks, the NCAA Championship.
And when you get in that championship level, there's a lot of luck involved, but there's also a lot of skill and hard work, and I think he put the time in.
And they dedicated the court to now the Nolan Richardson Court at Bud Walton Arena, and that's for his 389 wins and the school record 697 win percentage, 13 NCAA tournaments at Arkansas, including, of course, the 1994 National Championship for the Razorbacks. We'll always remember here, of course, for the NIT Championship back in 1981, and of course those polka dot shirts. Remember those, Coach?
Always on the sideline with the polka dot shirts. Right. What a great ambassador for the University of Tulsa during his time.
And he made Ed Bashir a very happy man, too. Ed Bashir sold a lot of polka dot shirts
here
in Tulsa. So congratulations again. Nolan Richardson, his name is now forever on the court at the University of Arkansas's Bud Walton Arena for basketball there in Fayetteville. Nolan Richardson, congratulations, Coach. We're proud of you.
1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight.
Remington Park is now officially open around the clock. That's right, we are 24/7.
We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. We're gonna rock till broad daylight. Gonna rock around the clock tonight.
So when we say the party never ends, you better believe it. Remington Park, now open 24/7.
Hey, Mo, have you seen the MDX? I'm pretty sure it was in the showroom when I left yesterday.
No, sorry, Jen. I haven't seen it.
Are you positive you haven't seen it?
Hey, Mo, I went ahead and pulled the MDX back up on the showroom for it. Oh, hey, Jen.
Haven't seen it, huh?
The Ashpaugh 6E Ranch on 800 acres north of Tulsa invites you to know the benefits of miniature Herefords. The 6E has always been committed to providing the finest quality meats. Our hormone-free beef is always on grass, then grain-fed the last 90 days to that perfect mix of marbling and taste. We will deliver the animal to a USDA-inspected facility. All you have to do is pick up your vacuum-packed processed meat. Fill your freezer with the finest quality beef at the best price. We also specialize in registered miniature Herefords for breeding and show. Call the 6E Ranch today.
And we wrap up Oklahoma Sports Scene, as always, with our parting shots. Gil Cloud starts us off.
I want to invite everyone to Will Rogers High School next Friday, November the 1st, 2 p.m. We'll be having a groundbreaking for the Will Rogers High School Stadium. That was a part of the 2015 bond issue, $4.5 million. The alumni are very excited. I think the student athletes are really excited. And we want to thank our patrons and the supporters, the foundation, and all the alumni from Will Rogers High School. We hope to open with the football season in 2020.
Well, I want to talk to you about an early morning for Becky and me last Saturday. We got up at alarm was set for 5:30 in the morning. Have to get on the road by 7 a.m. for that 11 a.m. kickoff again at the University of Oklahoma. Well, I figure we drive a 2.5 to 3 hours, and of course, winding through the traffic, which they'll never finish the construction in my lifetime in Oklahoma City. I'm convinced of that. Wind through the streets of Norman, find a parking spot, try to get to the stadium in time for the Pride and the pregame. Before last Saturday's 11 a.m. kickoff, I'm happy to know, against West Virginia, University of Oklahoma Vice President, Director of Athletics, Joe Castiglione, had this official statement. Appreciate our fans adjusting for another 11 a.m. game. Although it's not always readily apparent, we vigorously push for other times like we did for our opener. Obviously, the national TV exposure is important. We also understand the impact on you. We'll continue to explore ways to better serve you. Thank you, Joe. Kickoff this Saturday in Manhattan, 11 a.m. 5 straight 11 a.m. kickoffs for Oklahoma. Boomer. There you go, Coach.
Oh, man.
Well, I tell you, that's when you get to, it's our fault, the TV people, you know.
That's exactly right.
That's what happens, and take the money. And
they control the game, and that's unfortunate. But,
yeah.
you know, one thing about it, I tell you, when I was in the college business, I really like those, maybe not the 11 o'clock games, but I like those 1 o'clock games.
Yeah, that's a perfect time.
Because you have to wait all day to get to that night game, and that's tough. Keeping those guys hooked up and in the hotel or wherever you are. Sure. You know, but 11 o'clock is just a little bit early.
And it's tough for Sooner and Cowboy fans both when they have the kickoffs at 6 or 7 p.m., then you're driving home at 1 or 2 in the morning.
And,
so.
you know, it's really interesting, too, because we have friends and family on the West Coast.
Yeah.
They were having breakfast at kickoff at 9 o'clock. I mean, you know, so that's one of those
I guess the solution would be, the University of Tulsa would say, just stay in Tulsa and watch TU play.
Absolutely.
No worry about the drive and stuff. TU, of course, has their homecoming coming up with Memphis, so wish them all the best there as well. And, Coach, looking ahead to next, our final show for Oklahoma Sports Scene in the month of October, October 30th. We'll be on the air with two-time Sooner All-American Tinker Owens, a good friend of ours, Emmett Hahn, to talk about the Chili Bowl. He's going to be coming to our Sports Hall of Fame, right?
We're excited about Emmett Hahn joining the TPS Athletics Hall of Fame as a former Webster student, and he'll have a lot to tell us about the Chili Bowl.
Join us next time on Oklahoma Sports Scene. Have a great week. See you next time.